Just to start, so the show that you're going to be doing in Waynesville, it's kind of based off of the Nashville Bluebird Cafe.
Right.
Kind of a round robin songwriter thing. Can you tell me a little bit about what you like about that kind of format, and also maybe your own experience at the Bluebird doing something like that?
Sure. The reason I like it, I guess, it's very intimate. You've got the audience at your back, literally and figuratively, So it's almost as if they're part of the circle too.
Yeah.
And it's just one big happy jam session. And for some reason, there is this feeling of intimacy and warmth at the Bluebird anyway. I'm sure it'll be that way in North Carolina too, but there's sort of a warmth and a camaraderie there. So anyway, that's why I like it. And also I get to, instead of standing on a stage with the other performers and facing the audience, we get to face each other, so it's more like living room for us as performers.
Do you have any personal takeaways from the Bluebird as a performer, or maybe even watching someone else in that kind of setting?
Well, it's so interesting because it's such a high-profile gig, right? Everybody in the United States, at least, and probably Canada, knows about the Bluebird. And yet it's just this little rinky-dink room, that's been masterfully preserved the way, to keep its original feel.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's a great honor to have a slot there as a performer. I know that they have open mics and things like that, which is great for people, trying to learn how to showcase their material.
Yeah.
But to be asked as a performer there, it seems like, you've reached some sort of status as a songwriter.
Yeah. Well,
and it's all about songwriting too. That's the other wonderful thing.
Well, I was going to say, as much as it's very intimate with the audience there, what's that like for you as a songwriter to be that close to witness another songwriter, not only in performance but in the moment like that?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's super lovely, except that don't forget we're being observed by audience members and on a microphone and trying to deal with PA and hearing ourselves correctly and all that. So it's still, to me, it still has that pressure of performance, live performance.
Well, since it does involve the art of the songwriter, do you remember the first song you wrote, how old you were, and what it was about?
Probably 19 years old when I finished one. It's Hills of Alabama, which was one of my more successful cuts as far as having another person cut it, because it was on Kathy Mattea's, I guess it was a gold album.
Yeah.
Willows in the Wind. So it had high profile placement in the country music industry as far as it was an album cut,
Yeah.
But I was 19 when I wrote that. So it's like one of the first songs I ever wrote.
Where did you learn how to write songs, or is it just you were observing other people, or is it all of the above?
I'd say a lot of it came from singing with my family and learning to, read music in choir and sheet music at home, messing with the piano and just like dealing with melody all my life.
Yeah.
I think as far as the writing is concerned, I wouldn't consider myself a literary expert by any means. As a matter of fact, I didn't really love reading when I was a kid, but I did read on a daily basis, and I think I kind of lean more on my heartstrings for lyrics at the time. Now I'm trying to educate myself.
Was there a point where you knew a song could be whatever it wanted to be, like the idea being that if you think too hard and trying to force a formula, you might not get it, but like it's just one of those things where whatever it is that's in your heart is what should just come out anyways, and then go from there.
Absolutely. There's a lot of it should be the muse or whatever you want to call it first. I think really you have to listen to what that is and how it comes to you, and then let that flow for a while. But there comes a point when you have to put some craft to it. It's very rare that a song just writes itself from beginning to end.
Yeah. Do you have a kind of are you waiting for the lightning to strike, or are you sitting down and trying to create some magic?
I think that waiting for the lightning to strike is probably the wrong way to go about it. It's like falling in love with someone. They say you'll find love when you least expect it, which is absolute truth in my life experience. And I think that the songs that come to you are the same way. The thing is to be open and conscious of it when it happens, and the more you live with songwriting, the more you realize, hey, that's something I need to go write down.
Yeah.
I need to go, maybe sit with that for a while.
Who are the songwriters, or perhaps the performers, that really are the foundation of where you've come from as an artist?
Well, I'd say there are a few people who just struck me as fabulous songwriters. One was Mac McAnally from Alabama. Nancy Griffith has some sort of a incredible life view, world view, and she was beautifully articulate. Rodney Crowell.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Wonderful writer. I don't know where that came from, but just beautiful. There's a friend of mine from Montana named Costas. That's his stage name. But he came and he actually came to Nashville and ended up writing several hits. And he was so prolific and kind of different, very melodic. So I'm a fan of his. Is that enough? There are more, Dolly Parton.
What do you think the role of the songwriter is in the digital age, where we have so much in terms of distraction and perhaps even inconsequential priorities? What is the role of the songwriter?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think that there's a general tug on everyone's heart to be a little bit more down to earth and genuine. I mean, I think that the older you get, the more you realize that the digital performance or digital living has its value and its merit. But it seems to also cause us to lose something of humanity. So I would think the writers and the poets and the songwriters of the world are going to be, pulling back towards more of a humanistic kind of reach.
Yeah.
From one person to another and, at heart level. I hope so.
Do you think that in turn means that the songwriter is as important now as ever before?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had arguments with people on Facebook about I've had so-called fans tell me on Facebook that I had no business voicing my political opinion, for example, or sociological opinion.
Yeah.
Which, is tied to politics, I guess, when you're talking about social issues.
Well,
and I just told them that I'm a huge fan of 1960s music and writing. It's some of the best era that we ever had. And those people were speaking to society. And, if they had a right to, I feel like I do too. And this guy came back and said, as a matter of fact, I'm a huge fan of 60s writing too. Never thought of it that way. I'm like, oh. Anyway, yeah, we can bring social change, for the better, hopefully.
Well, it's that thing too where all great art, one would hope, would create dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and we're doing that. I mean, things that aren't art are also creating dialogue, but But yeah, dialogue is important, and just to help people to think maybe differently than the way they're stuck in their channel of thinking.
Well, as someone like yourself who was raised on both sides of the Mason-Dixon line, and also is a traveling musician who has seen the world, and is also currently, I guess, living in 2 countries, or is Toronto full-time?
Well, I'm a permanent resident of Canada now.
Okay.
I'm still a U.S. citizen, and I'll always will be.
Well, with all of that background, what do you see when you look at society today? Is it nothing's the same, everything's the same, or is it we're in a new place?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? Where society is now? I hope that we're at a crux of realization, that, we're just turning into a global community, and it's hard for people to accept that when we've been nationalists for so long, but but the world is turning into a global community, and the sooner we embrace that, I think and open our eyes and hearts, the better things will be.
Yeah.
I don't think we can fight it and succeed.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where a lot of times people forget how much in common they have with just maybe someone they don't agree with, and that, I guess the way I look at it is, it used to be, if I don't agree with you, I still respect you, but I feel like what's changed is if you don't agree with someone, people automatically shut down.
Yeah, write you off. Well, I've done it when I knew I shouldn't, and I've had it done to me, and it hurts, and it's a little bit of a shock, isn't it?
Yeah. But I hold out hope.
Yeah. Well, we've got to, and I think the dialogue in the world is good. It's not all bad. It's not all hate.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot, and that's.